fellow Toastmasters, dominators, and guests. Today I will be illustrating to you why it's important for us to be colorblind. I begin with a demonstration. We see two sneaker boxes, two Michael Air Jordan sneaker boxes. They look alike, correct? They're just alike. In this box, we have this sneaker. In this box, you have this sneaker. They're both the same shoe, but different colors, but they come into the same box. So just like us, we both have the same type of bodies. The box represents our bodies. This is our outward appearance. One black shoe, one white shoe, but all nationalities, the same shoe, just different colors. So why is it that over the years we've had an issue with racism? When in all nationalities we just come back to this. We all come in the same type of shell. We just have different outward appearances, but we're all the same. History informed. Martin Luther King said in August of 1963, 50 years ago, a great American, in whose symbolic shadow we stand signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Abraham Lincoln, right? This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to the end of a long night of captivity. But 100 years later, we must face the tragic fact that the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles, which are handcuffs, of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lies on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize an appalling condition. Here we are 50 years later, and still remnants of what happened years ago still plague us today. For the people that really believe in science, scientists have discovered that there's only one major pigment called melanin. It produces our skin color. There are two forms of melanin called aluminum, which produces a color from brown to black, and pheomelanin, which is red to yellow. These combine to give us the shade of color that we have. Melanin is produced by melanocytes, which are cells in the bottom of the layer of your epidermis. No matter what shade of your skin color, we all have approximately the same amount of melanocytes in our bodies. Let's move on to biblical history. Adam and Eve were believed to be the first two people on earth. We all are descendants of Adam and Eve. But when the flood that Noah, if you know about Noah, that's in the Bible, the flood that he prophesies about came, we were reduced to 8 different tribes from all different nations. So in a nutshell, again, we are all descendants of Adam and Eve. We were created not to have dominion over one another, but over the entire earth. So why is it that we've gotten away from that? Is it that we have allowed an imperfect world to impact our thoughts, which gives us the ability to underestimate, makes us overlook, stereotype, chastise, and or reject our like brothers and sisters? And it's actually an insult. In the grand scheme of things, because we were all made in the womb, just like you and myself. All of us were made in the womb. And so, is it also because of a lack of knowledge? If not all the above. In the book of Job in the Bible, Job had owned slaves. He once said, "If I have been unfair to my male or female servants when they brought their complaints to me, how could I face God? What could I say when he questioned me? For God created both me and my servants. He created us both in the womb." That's scripture that backs up what I just shared with you. So we're here in present day, again, the remnants of a prideful act still exist in many people today. There's still a time when people of a different race are overlooked, misunderstood due to the color of their skin. It could be a job situation. It could be a life partner, or just plain old help. Plain old help. For example, some of us may have not experienced a time when you interviewed for a job and you knew you had all the credentials to perform that job action. But some people here in life were overlooked, misunderstood, all because of the color of their skin. Again, we're all the same. There's only a 2% difference between all of us. 2%. So, in a job selection process, how can you tell a person's intelligence, which determines their excellence, based on the color of their skin? A life partner. We don't know who the Creator has blessed for us to be with in our lives. I'll give an example. Back in the 1960s or 50s, a man by the name of Emmett Till was killed, all because he whistled at a Caucasian female in a local grocery store, because he observed her beauty for what the Creator brought to us. He was just observing her beauty, so he whistled at her. So later, her brothers or whomever kidnapped him, beat him up bad, and literally lynched him. I'm going to give you an example from my own experience. I've been blessed to have come from a diverse background. In the 8th grade, I chose to date a Caucasian female. She was redheaded, beautiful. She had freckles. She was beautiful. I didn't look at her skin color. I looked at her spirit and how she could bless me. But I too was threatened by her father. He told me, he said, "If you ever try to date my daughter again, I'll kill you." Of course, me being 13, I did the very next best thing. I left her alone. And then some people are too stubborn to ask for help based upon the color of their skin. I'm going to give you a positive example. Just a couple of days ago at the gym, I was lifting weights, and I noticed a Caucasian female having an issue with doing an incline press with dumbbell. So it bothered me to see her struggle. And then I saw her quit, and then she went to go put her dumbbells back down. So I finished my sets, and then I walked over to her. I said, "Hey, would you like for me to spot you?" She paused for a second, and then she said, "You know what? Yeah, if you will." I said, "Absolutely." And then she was able to finish her set. So she felt good about herself just by finishing another set instead of cheating herself. So in closing, when a person overlooks another person because of their skin color, whether it be white to black or black to white, it's an insult. When you chastise or reject a person that was made in a womb just like yourself, it's an insult. When you do not even consider the other person because of their skin color, it's an insult. It's not an insult to that person. It's not an insult ultimately to their parents or their culture, but it's an insult to the Creator that made them in yourself, who made us all with love in His eyes. We were wonderfully and marvelously made. With that being said, I challenge you to find the good in people. Try to discover the gifts in people that grace your presence, because you never know what treasure lies in that person. Your blessing from the Creator can come from anyone. It's going to come through anyone. Doesn't matter what color they are. Because in His eyes, He is no respecter of person. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Creator looks at your heart. So from this day forward, be colorblind and truly live the quote by the man we know and love, where he says, "Love thy neighbor as you love yourself."